Hello everyone, my name is Nur Natasya Binti Sahimi. My numbermetry is 280508. I am from Group 4. I will explain concept and give you guys a picture of this topic. Setting price for a product is a critical task for a business person. If you set price too low, you may not generate enough revenue to cover all of your expense. Price your product too high and customer will go to the competitor to get a better deal. Many businesses rely on a cost plus pricing strategy for setting price in a systematic and consistent manner. Pricing strategy is pretty much what the name implies. You set a price by calculating a markup, which is a percentage of the cost of a good. Then you add the markup to the cost of the good. This is the advantage of being simple, and it enables you to keep pricing consistent from one item to the next. For example, if you are selling athletic shoes and use the same markup percentage for every style of running shoes, your price will follow a pattern that reflects your per unit cost. Using markup for a cost plus pricing also make it easy to adjust price when the cost of goods change. This is also the advantage of cost plus pricing strategy. I will explain later in the next slide. Your markup percentage needs to be large enough to provide a margin that is sufficient to cover operating expense plus profit. Compare the gross margin to the percentage of revenue that goes to pay operating expense to see if it is adequate. It is a good idea to check gross margin against the operating expense on a regular basis to spot potential problems. There are three advantages of using cost plus pricing strategy. First, it's simple to use. Using cost plus strategy, it doesn't require extensive research. We just need to analyze the production cost, example, labor, material and overhead, and determine a markup price. Second advantage, the price can be justified. The cost plus pricing strategy make it easy to communicate to consumer because price changes are made. If a company needs to raise the selling price of its product due to rising production costs, the increase can be justified. And the last advantage is it provides a consistent rate of return. When calculated correctly, the cost plus pricing should result in all costs being covered, and we should expect a consistent rate of return due to the markup percentage. There are three disadvantages of using cost plus pricing strategy. First, the price can be set too high. Since this pricing strategy doesn't take competitor price into consideration, there is a risk that selling price is too high. This could result in a loss of sale if consumers choose to do business with a competitor with lower price. Second, there is no guarantee all costs will be covered. Sales volume is projected before pricing the product, and sometimes this estimate is inaccurate. If sales are overestimated and a low markup is used to price the product, fewer items are sold and the cost to produce the product might not be covered. This often results in a financial hit for the company. And the last one is, there isn't an incentive to operate efficiently. If the business bases the selling price, they could potentially make the same percentage from a product even if a production costs rise. This eliminates the incentive for the business to operate more efficiently and lower the cost to create their product. When businesses don't adapt their strategies to changing conditions, it's unlikely they will be successful. useful in the future. With a cost plus pricing strategy, we can simply mark up product to determine its selling price. However, we will want to look at the benefit and drawback of this markup method to determine if it's a good fit for the business. That's all from me. I will pass to the next presenter to explain more about this topic.
Assalamualaikum and hi. My name is Ahmad Afiq Irfan bin Ahmad Kamal with the matrix number 280468 from group L4 will present about the definition of full cost plus markup. So, I will explain about the definition of full cost plus markup. What is definition of full cost plus markup? Full cost plus markup is the practice by a company of determining the cost of the product to the company and then adding a percentage on top of that price to determine the selling price to the customer. In easy explanation, it means that this is a method for a company to determine their product price and will easy them to determining the product that follow the market. Other than that, the keyword markup means that a percentage the company want to put on the product when it's selling to the customer. For your information, full cost plus markup is a very simple cost-based pricing strategy for setting the price of goods and service. It means that this method will easier the company to determine the price of their product. Other than that, this method also a very simple other than two method. First, other two method is full cost transfer pricing and variable cost per fixed fee. Other than that, the definition of full cost plus markup also include the step of this method. With full cost plus markup, firstly, we will add three costs: direct material cost, the direct labor cost, and overhead cost. What is this three function of this cost? So we know that it's important to determine what it costs the company to offer the product or service to the customer. Other than that, a markup percentage also will added the total cost to determine the selling price for the beloved customer. So for your information, this definition is very complete because it added the step of this method. Next, for your information, this markup percentage actually is a profit. For example, a company decide to put the price of their product is RM50 ringgit, but they also want a profit, so they will add 5% percentage or we call it markup to the product. Other than that, 5% also will be their profit. Thus, we need to start out with a solid and accurate understanding of all the business costs and where those costs are coming from. Lastly, in certain case, the markup percentage is agreed upon by both buyer and seller. It means that rather than the company put the percentage of the markup, they also can discuss with the seller about the percentage of markup they will agree together. So this percentage can also serve as a bargaining chip during the sales. After I explain about the definition of full cost plus markup, right now I will explain a little bit about the step to computing full cost plus markup. There are three steps. First step is we should determine the total cost of the product or service, which is the sum of fixed and variable costs. For your information, fixed costs do not vary by the number of units while variable costs do. It means that either the units of the product increase or decrease, the fixed cost will stay the cost, while the variable cost will follow the number of the units when it increase or decrease. Example of fixed cost is like rent, insurance, or salary, while example for the variable cost is a commission or direct material. Next, step 2. We should divide the total cost by the numbers of units to determine the unit cost. And lastly, the step 3. We should multiply the unit cost by the markup percentage.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Syamimi Binti Razali. My metric number is 280425. Now, I would like to continue our presentation on cost-based transfer pricing at full cost plus markup with the first example. Example 1. Ginger Berhad sells bread at its restaurant. The company makes bread itself, which involves costs. The variable cost per unit for direct materials is RM2, variable cost per unit for direct labor is RM4, and variable cost per unit for manufacturing overhead is RM3. The total fixed cost is RM10,000. Ginger Berhad budgeted sale volume is 20,000 pieces and decide to put 20% markup price for the bread. Based on transfer pricing plus markup price, the first step is to find the transfer price per unit. Formula for transfer price per unit is total fixed cost plus total variable cost divided with budgeted sales volume. So the calculation would be RM10,000, that is fixed cost, plus with RM2, plus with RM4, plus with RM3, that are variable costs, times with 20,000 units to get the total variable cost, and then divide with 20,000 units of budgeted sale volume. Then we will get RM9.50 for the transfer price per unit. The next step is to find the final price. We need to add the transfer price with the markup percentage. The formula is transfer price plus transfer price times with markup percentage, given that the markup percentage is 20%. Then the calculation would be the transfer price, that is RM9.50, plus with the markup percentage, that is RM9.50, times with 20%, and we will get RM1.90. Therefore, after sum up the transfer price and the markup percentage, the total for Ginger Berhad to sell a unit of bread with the markup price is RM11.40. Move on to the next example, that is example 2. Cheesy Company assembles and installs computer specifications. Cheesy has decided to price its jobs at the cost of direct materials and direct labor plus 30%. The job is for a local vocational technical school, included the following costs. The direct material cost is RM55,000, while cost for direct labor, assembly and installation is RM2,000. It is required to calculate the price charged by GC company to the vocational technical school. And for the calculation, firstly, we need to write the formula, which is the price is equal to total cost plus total cost times with markup percentage. So, the total cost is RM57,000 after we sum the direct material cost and direct labor cost, plus with the total cost times with the markup percentage, that is RM57,000 times with 30%. And finally, the price charged by GC company to the vocational technical school is ringgit. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and hi. My name is Nurfatiha Afiqah binti Idris. My metric number is 280521. I am from group L4. I will continue for example 3 for full cost plus markup transfer pricing. The example is XYZ company expect to incur the following costs in its business in the upcoming year. The information that the question given to us are variable costs with RM5 per unit, fixed costs with RM50 per year. The company expect to sell 500 of its product. Also, XYZ company required 30% markup for profit. Based on this information and using the full cost plus markup pricing, XYZ calculates the following price per unit for its product. For the solution, we can solve the question by using two steps. First step is we calculate the transfer price per unit. We need to write down the formula for transfer price per unit, which is total fixed cost plus total variable cost, and we divide the total above with the budgeted sale volume. Then we insert all the information into the equation. We add RM50 same as the question given for fixed cost with RM5 times 500 because we need the total variable cost, but the question only give variable cost per unit. Then divide the total above with 500 units same as the question given for expected sale. Then we solve the problem using scientific calculator and we get 5 ringgit and 10 cent per unit for transfer price. For the last step or step 2, we need to calculate transfer price plus markup per unit. Write down the formula for transfer price plus markup per unit first, which is transfer price plus total of transfer price times markup percentage. Then we insert all the information into the equation. We add 5 ringgit and 10 cent same as the answer that we get from step 1 with total of 5 ringgit and 10 cent times 30%. This 30% we take from the question given as markup for profit. Then we solve the problem using scientific calculator and we get 6 ringgit and 63 cent per unit for transfer price plus markup. Next, I pass the presentation to Mira Nurfatiha for the next example. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and hi to doctor and everyone who is watching. My name is Mira Binti Suhaimi and my metric number is 280461. I will show and guide how to calculate the example for number 4. So first thing first, I will read the question as stated on the slide. Mystic Corporation provides the following information for the new product they recently introduced. Based on the information given, what should be the transfer price for the product? As you can see here, the total fixed cost is 1,625,000 ringgit Malaysian. Total fixed cost can be consist of the factory production cost, research and development cost, fixed selling cost, and also administration and other overhead costs. The information given next is the variable cost per unit, which is 8 ringgit Malaysia. The budgeted sales volume that Mystic Corporation estimated to sell this new product are 500,000 units. Then, the markup percentage on cost this company has decided is 35%. Back to the question, what should be the transfer price for this new product with the markup percentage included? So in this slide, I will now show you how to calculate the transfer price. To make things easier, firstly you should find the transfer price per unit for each product. The formula to find the transfer price is total fixed cost must be added with the total variable cost. The total then will be divided with the budgeted sales volume. For this example, the total fixed cost is 1,625,000 ringgit Malaysian. Then we must find the total variable cost for the product. To find this figure, we have to multiply the variable cost per unit, which is 8 ringgit Malaysia, with the budgeted sales volume of 500,000 units. Thus, we find that the total variable cost is 4 million ringgit Malaysia. After adding both the total fixed cost and the total variable cost, we have to divide it with the budgeted sales volume of the products, which are 500,000 units. Therefore, we now have the transfer price of the product per unit at 11 ringgit and 25 cent ringgit Malaysia. After we calculate the transfer price, we should not forget the markup percentage that has been given by the company earlier. To find this, we should know the basic formula. The transfer price should be added with the markup price of the product. In this example, we know that the transfer price is 11 ringgit Malaysia and 25 cent. To find the markup price, we should multiply it with the markup percentage, which is 35%. Hence, the markup price will be 3 ringgit Malaysia and 95 cent. Then by adding both 11.25 and 3 ringgit and 94 ringgit Malaysia, the transfer price based on the full cost plus markup price is 15 ringgit and 90 cent. That is all from me. Thank you for watching our video from our group, which is Group L4.